Hey guys, I know that a few people have requested doing a Blockbench tutorial, so I figured I would go a step further and just kind of record my entire process. So, on the regular, I use three different programs. That is Photoshop, and then I also use Blockbench, and a third program called SpriteMancer. Those are the three that I will usually use. I don't really use any other programs other than those three. Photoshop, I know a lot of people don't have. So I'm gonna kind of try and touch on some of the things that are pretty generalized as far as you'll be able to use in other programs, I hope. Um, so let's hop right into it, I guess. So I am going to start on one of the ruined swords from the new pack that I'm making. And one of the techniques that I like to do is I will actually do it as a flat image in Photoshop to begin with. And then you can actually extrude that in Blockbench. So I'm going to be doing a mix of that and then actual modeling in Blockbench. So what we have right here is I have a 128 by 128 canvas. I usually work in 64 by 64. In this case, since it's going to be an extrusion, I want to make sure that my texture is big enough. So I went with 128 by 128, and then we'll make something that's not the entire canvas, and it should kind of balance itself out. So to start, I usually just kind of like to outline what I'm going to be doing in a darker shade of whatever color I'm thinking about going with. So in this case, I think I'm probably going to go with just like more of a straight gray. I might go with a little bit of green because I'm wanting to do something that's going to be like mossy and overgrown a little bit. So we'll start with a color like this. And then to make it easy, I can do some kind of symmetry, just so I only have to do half of it. So we'll go in here. So we'll do some kind of cool little shape for the hilt of the sword. And then, honestly, I think I'll want that to be I think I'll want the butt of the sword to actually be modeled. So we'll just I think we'll just do the blade. I think we'll just do the blade, and then we'll model everything else. So we're going to do kind of like a generic sword texture. I think that's going to be a little big, because I'm going to do some fancy stuff with the actual modeling, and then we may have it do a little and for doing curves, what I found usually works best is, so like I'll come up and then I'll do a rule of like 3, then 2, and then 1, and that usually gives you a really good curve, some kind of like repeating pattern like that. Oops, I keep erasing the wrong one. There we go. And then we'll go up some more. That seems like a really cool shape. So then I'll fill it in with a lighter color. So we'll go a little bit lighter than that. And we'll paste that in. So that's going to be our basic sword shape. And then we're going to want to do some shading and things. So generally, when you start doing art and textures, you just kind of want to pick an area that you usually do your light source from. So I usually do my light source from the left top side, and that kind of gives you generally your lighting will always line up then. That way you don't have to think about it. and then we'll turn our symmetry off because we don't need that anymore. So if we think this blade is going to be a little bit lighter, this blade, it's got an angle to it because that's what makes it sharp. So we're going to want the 1/2 over here to be lit up, and then it's going to get dark then from there on down until maybe like here again. Maybe that blade will start catching some light there. Then we'll want to pick a dark color. So we're going to take this border color and we're going to make it even darker than that, because we're then going to go back over our border. Just like that. And then we'll go back and we'll take our original border color, and that's what we'll do over here. So just kind of replicate whatever pattern we had here. We actually, did we miss something there? No, I think that's right. Yeah. Yep, it is. Okay. And then we'll do from here and go straight down. Most of this down here I think is going to be covered up by what I do in Blockbench. Okay, so then we're going to take this dark color and we're going to fill in this over here, since that's not getting any light. And you see how we're already getting like a kind of sharp looking shape. There we go, and we'll turn off this grid just so we can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. Okay, alright. So, now for some texturing. So I'm going to select out here, and then we're going to inverse it. And this is where I think the magic really comes in. So there's what's called modes, and you can find this in a lot of different places. Like there's some down here for some different things, and for your brushes you've got it up here. For the most part there's only 3 that you're going to want to use. That is multiply, screen, and linear dodge add. It's typically called add in most other programs. So if you're doing shadows, you're going to want to pick a dark color, and you're going to want to pick multiply. If you're doing a highlight, then you're going to want to do screen, and you're going to pick a bright color. And then add is usually if something is glowing, like it's emitting its own light of some kind, it's more intense, I'll usually use an add. So first we'll go with a multiply, and we'll take this here. We're going to turn off all that stuff just so you can really see what's happening. So I'm just going to go through here, and we're going to, actually this over here is going to be, I don't know why I made that a highlight over here. I'm being goofy, I guess. There we go. That looks a lot smarter. Okay. So this area right here is going to be really dark. And then it's going to kind of go down. And then right around here, we're going to have that base. And we're actually going to be coming in here and editing this again as far as the shading, but just for some of the basics. Okay, and then we're going to want to go to screen. I'm going to select this highlight color right here. We're really going to want to go along this edge right there. and probably create a highlight. And then we'll want to do you know, like a little bit of a ray, shine to it. And then get something else that's small and do a second one like that. We'll go back up to a larger size. Let's do a little bit of a highlight here. And you can kind of see how like we're already getting a little bit of a blade here. But since this is going to be like a damaged ruin blade, we don't want it to look as nice as we have it now. So we're gonna mess it up a little bit. So you know, honestly, instead of being mossy, what if we actually do a little bit of rusty? So if I deselect that and we go back in and we turn our saturation down, or maybe we give it more of a blue. What does a blue look like? Oh yeah, that's a good metal color right there. So we'll do a little bit of a rust effect, I guess, actually. So we'll do some filter, we're gonna add some noise, and this is going to... Now, a lot of pixel artists, or people who do Blockbench, if you use noise, they will get upset. I don't care. I think noise looks good, and especially for stone textures, noise is really good. And just for like a really general distressing, I think it's an amazing tool in moderation. And then we'll go back through and we'll select this again. So we'll go select inverse. Then you can use a lot of different brushes and some different things. I have a free brush pack. What's it called? I think it's like Evanet or something. You can look it up and you can actually get it free. So where is it? Yeah, Evanet Concept Art Brush Pack. If you use Photoshop, it has some really amazing brushes in there. Most of these you're probably not going to use for Photoshop, but I use them for some other stuff. But a really good texture for like almost anything is going to be their paintbrush. Yeah, Painter Style right here. Painter Style is a really good general distressing brush. So we're going to pick an orange color, like kind of like an orange rust color, something probably like that. And we're gonna go put it on its own layer, and we're gonna set this to multiply. And so we're gonna go through and look at that. We got a rusty blade. So we can go down here, and I think we've lost a little bit of... Yeah, there we go. We kind of lost a little bit of the shape and everything. So we'll do a little brightness and contrast with it. See how that looks. Yeah, I kind of like that. And then we'll just splat those together. Okay, so I think this is going to be good. We're going to save this, and we're going to go on to the next step, and then we're probably going to come back to this. So I'm going to save it as, and yes, this is where I want it. And we're going to save that. Okay, so now we're going to hop over into Blockbench. So we're going to do Java block item, create new model. So here we're going to want to set our texture size. For me, I like to do 64 by 64. And then we're going to name it. So we're just going to name this Lightning Sword. And then everything else just keep the same. So confirm. Now we're going to go into File, Import Extruded Texture. And then we're going to find our lightning, there we go, lightning sword blade. Open it up. And all these, yes, yes, yes. And there we go, we have our blade as a 3D, its own little 3D model. So we're gonna move that over and do our best to center it. Unfortunately, Blockbench doesn't have a really great way to truly center any of its stuff, but you can just kind of do the best that you can. Okay, so now for our actual modeling. So I'm gonna move this up some, because what I wanted to do with this is add a cube, and we're gonna pull it over. See if we can line it up here. If you want to move a block, like instead of doing this, you want to fine tune it, you can hold control and you can do micro little movements. That also works with scaling too, if you don't want to scale a block up all the way. So now we're going to reduce the thickness of this till it's like just a little bit thicker than what our blade is. Probably something like that. We're gonna take this and they're not lining up super great, but I don't think anybody will notice. It'll be fine. To center cubes, just hit this little button here. You can center it like that. So we're gonna rotate this by 45 degrees, and this is kind of gonna be the base of it down here. Then we're gonna hit Control D, which is gonna duplicate that, and we're gonna want to half it in this direction. We're gonna pull it up like this. I think I want this actually to be, can we go lower with it? Yeah, we can go lower with it. There we go. I want something like that. Yes. Okay. Then we're gonna do another one. So we're gonna hit Control D back on that original cube. Gonna pop it up like that. Okay, so then there we have that. We're gonna take this one, Control D, duplicate it. And I think I actually want this one to be like half as thin. Yeah, something like that. And so see how we're getting some Z fighting in here. So if like I change the color of this cube to pink, you'll see that they're fighting some. So actually what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this block right here and we're gonna hold Control. We're gonna go in. We're just gonna reduce that by a little bit either side. And we might actually do this one too. That's gonna work in our favor anyway, because I want it to look like they're crisscrossed. Just like this. Gonna duplicate this one more time. Just like that. I don't know if we'll keep that, but that's how it is for right now. Okay, that looks pretty cool, I think. Might even still move this up a little bit. How much further can we move it? Not a whole lot. Okay. That's good for now. That might look cool. Oh no, maybe we'll do that. I think that looks a little neat. Okay. So then we got to think about our handle down here. So I think what I'll do for this one is we'll duplicate that original square, and we're gonna center the origin again. I'm gonna rotate it to where it's back to being straight, and reduce it down. We don't want it quite that thin though. Maybe something like that. Gonna take that cube, we're gonna duplicate it again, put the origin point, and we're gonna rotate it. We're gonna make it about that big. We're gonna move it up there. And out here. Yeah. I'm gonna thicken it up a little bit. Then we're gonna duplicate it, move it over. I think it's about there. Center it. Center it. Yeah, that's got some cool, like, lightning vibes to it. And this will be our handle. Oh wow, that's beautiful how well that lines up. Oh, that's crazy. Actually probably want it a bit thinner. Honestly, that would make a really cool spear if it wasn't so big. Like, that would be a lit looking spear. I don't know, maybe it could be a broken spear. Maybe it was like once a spear, and now it's like broken, and it's used like a sword. That could be cool. Now we'll do a little broken end on it down here. Actually, no. No, I think we'll just do it as a block. Okay, I'll explain. I'll explain once we get there. Okay, so then I like to go into display just to kind of see how it looks proportioned. And we want to rotate it by 90. Now, one of the really nice things is if you've modeled something, you're like, oh no, it's too small. What am I going to do? Well, you can actually just scale it up. So, like, if we want this to be a little bigger, we can... Oh, yeah. That's beautiful. Look at that. Okay. I'm really happy with that. I like that. I think what we will do, though, is we're going to make this centerpiece a little thicker. That way we can make this handle a little thicker, and it'll be a little bit closer to being cube shaped. Okay, I'm not gonna mess around with this design anymore, so it's gonna be straight into texturing. So you want to select all of your blocks minus the folder that you the extruded texture. There we go. That looks a lot better. Not sure why we had to do it like that. To be honest, most of the time I model first, and then I bring in the accent, so I think that's why we had a little bit of trouble there. But we've already got all of our color and everything, so this is our base. That's our base color. So we'll just do element, and we'll shoot those. And then this is going to be our wood down there. Oh yeah, that looks so much better. Do we still have our symmetry? Yeah, we still have our symmetry. And set that to face. Cool, cool, cool. Then we'll take that to, yeah, that dark color there. And then we'll do those dark areas. We wanted to do the highlights on top of that. Look at that, we're almost right back where we started. Also, I think we should do some cool flourishes or something, or maybe maybe a gem or something on these handles. So lightning color, another lightning color blue. Maybe if we do like a, ooh, that's gonna give it like a nice royal look, I think. Yeah. Is that centered? One way to find out. Nope. No, it's not. What? There we go, I think that's... that's even worse. Here, we're just gonna make a reference point. There we go. We're struggling today, it seems. Okay, and then there we got that, and then that. Okay. Cool. Alright, there we go. We got it figured out. Okay, and we aren't going to worry about shading that because we're actually going to do that in Photoshop, but we want to create a few highlights. Okay, there we go. That's looking better. So we're just going to save this over the top of the old one. Yes, we want to replace it. We're going to close the old one in Photoshop. No, we don't want to save that. It's garbage. Okay, we're going to edit externally. It's going to open it up in here. Okay, so we're going to select our blue. Then we're going to give it some outer glow, and we're going to pick that blue color. And then we're going to do an inner glow. We want it to be centered, yes. And then here's where I use add. You can see the difference between add and screen. Like, screen looks alright, but add looks a lot better. Like, those actually look like they're lit up now. Okay, cool. Now we're gonna select all of our gold spots so we can get on the right layer. And we're gonna copy that. And then we're gonna pick these bright colored spots. We're gonna copy those to their own layer. Then we're going to do an outer glow on those, but not blue. And then we'll do an inner glow on those as well, but once again, not blue. Nice. Okay. Okay, so now we've got the gold all, well, oops, guess one more. There we go. We have the gold all put back together. So now we're going to separate out the wood, turn our tolerance down. Going to separate out the wood parts, so we're going to cut those out. And this we're going to do filter, a little bit of noise. And then for this wood, I'm going to try some pattern overlay. Oh wow, that's already looking kind of good. Yeah, that looks kind of woody. Or not sure about screen. Yeah, this is gonna take it over. We'll go back to multiply, I guess. Some of these other, you can also just kind of like scroll through and see what some of the styles like and see if there's one that you think works better than another. Not a fan of that. Is that multiply again? No, that's hard mix. Okay. Yeah, I think we can do that. You might want to lighten it up a little bit. We do. Yeah, and then we'll desaturate it a little bit to get back to like a wood color. Okay, yeah, I think we can work with that. And then we'll want to get it dark down towards the bottom again, because we're gonna, if you remember, we're gonna make it look like it's kind of split and broke or whatever. Okay, I think that's good for here. So then we're gonna save as. We're gonna export it back out. Oops. I want to turn off our mirroring for this. Cool. Okay, so for this gold, obviously it still looks really flat. So we're gonna go through and we're gonna give it some shadow. So we're gonna go to paint and we're gonna grab our paintbrush. We're gonna step up the size a little bit, lower the opacity way down, and we're gonna jack the softness all the way up and go to multiply, and we're gonna pick our dark color again. And we're just going to, actually we're going to increase our size a little bit more and opacity up a little bit. Yeah. Definitely should have turned our mirroring back on. So we'll turn it off for right now to fix it, and then we'll go back into it. I hope I'm not noticeably struggling. It's literally like 4 o'clock in the morning because I worked overtime. And I was like, I really want to do this. And like, I know it wasn't going to happen unless I specifically made time for it. Okay, and I think we'll do some highlights then too. Oh, look at that! Look at that! It's already starting to come together. It's already starting to look so much better. Now, one thing I actually don't know is, well, I guess I don't think gold actually really. What does gold patina look like? Here, Google's gonna help us real quick. I feel a little embarrassed because I've never tried to erode a gold texture. Let's see if we can find out real quick. Because like I know copper patinas and it turns green, and that one's really fun to do. And then obviously, you know, iron rust and all that kind of stuff. I'm actually gonna pull this over here real quick because I think it's gonna have my sign-in information. Yeah. Okay, so does it just like turn gray? Interesting. That's really interesting. Let's try it. Let's just see how it looks. See, that's like half of it. Is you just gotta try stuff. Yeah, let's see how it looks. We're actually gonna do a little bit of highlight there, and then we're gonna go back in and we're gonna do because there where it meets with that sword. It's gonna be kinda dark. Well, probably not there because that's going to be highlighted. Okay, so we're going to save that, and then we're going to close it in Photoshop. So we don't need this anymore. Nope. Go on Photoshop, and we're going to edit externally. We know where the wood is. We're not gonna mess with it. Okay, cool. Actually, and we're just here. What we're gonna do. Oh, see, that's not cool. I'll have to fix that. Okay. My eraser must not have been totally transparent. It doesn't look like. Or actually, no, I think that's fine. I think I know what's happening there. Yeah, I see it. It's fine. I'm gonna copy it, and what we're gonna do is lower the saturation. We're gonna lower the brightness. Oh yeah, here we go. I think this is gonna look good. So then we're going to take our eraser and we're going to give that paintbrush tool to it. We're going to set it to brush and turn the opacity down. Because I think we want the opacity to be higher than that. Yeah. Okay, let's just see how that looks. I'll clean up this wood really quick. Okay. I'm excited. Ooh. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know. What do you all think? I mean, obviously, you can't really let me know because this is pre-recorded. But I think if we take a brush now, we take our brush. I think if we do default, we take our gold color. I think, yeah, we can blend in those areas where, you know, we've gotten cut off. We're gonna do a little bit of a legal here. Remember, y'all, I didn't teach you that. That was not me. Z fighting should be properly dealt with. Okay. Honestly, I might mess with this some more later, but I think for right now, for this tutorial, I think we're gonna call this good. We have one last thing that we want to do though, because this lightning sword is not complete without lightning. So now y'all know that Bedrock is pampered and they get cool particle effects that you can put with weapons and stuff, but we don't have that here. So we gotta do it the hard way. So that is where I'm gonna go into SpriteMancer. So what we're gonna do in here is we're gonna make a new project. So we're going to make our canvas size. We're gonna do like 128 by 128. Okay. So to start, you will go with particle, and then you'll paste your emitter, and then you'll have to do it again with the particle. So now we've got particles and stuff. So I'm just gonna kind of run through this really quick because, like, I don't know how much you all will want to go into this because this isn't really Blockbench anymore. But I'll quickly go over it. So with the emitter, we want it centered around like the center part of the lightning, the sword. So we're going to increase the height of it. And then we're going to go into our particle, and we're going to go through the library. And I think we're going to pick, what is it, spells or... No, it's... there was a really good one. I don't remember which one it was that had some good lightning effects. Magic particles, there we go. Okay. So I think this is the one that I like. So let's try... Okay, and so then we're going to set the life to be really low. Yeah, because we just kind of want them appearing like that. And then for their direction, we're going to want it to be any direction, just like that. I think I don't like that particle though. That's cool looking. I think we can do with that. Okay. And then size, we'll want it to be random. What if we make it small? And then we... Yeah. Yeah, that looks good, I think. And then we'll actually want... I think we'll want to turn the emitter down a little bit. That way they're not like... We don't want them... Typically, we don't want them going off the screen. And we'll turn up the delay with it. Yeah, so it's more like... Yeah. Okay. And then with that, let's see. So, if any of you decide to do SpriteMancer with these kind of effects, transparency is a really big deal. So, if you're not going to use emissive textures, which is an Optifine thing, then having transparency is going to be fine here. Sometimes you'll get some weird artifacts if you have multiple layers of transparency within your item. Sometimes they won't show up right. For this, I want this to be emissive, to like glow in the dark, so I cannot have transparency. So we're going to add a node, and this is going to be... I think we want to add some bloom to it because we want to brighten it up a little bit. I think it's going to be in color and bloom. Yeah, there we go. Also, I think we should put some spin on that. Yeah, okay. So then what we're going to add for that is going to be in color, and we're going to do an alpha gate. So what that does is it cuts off any semi-transparent particles. So you can adjust that and you'll see that like, so the threshold is higher and higher, or we can make it low and it'll barely show up. So I think we want a little bit higher delay with this. Yeah, and we want the lifetime, I think, of the particle to be a little bit more. But then we'll have to have the size not increase as much. This is honestly just a lot of playing around, so like anytime I've ever used this, I always just kind of have to play around with it and just see how I want things to look. And what if we turn the speed down? Oh, that looks a lot better. I think that looks a lot better. And we can turn the height back up a little bit. And I think we can turn the delay down some. That looks cool. I think that looks cool. I think we'll try it. Okay. So then we're going to want to export. Now, but automatically trim is going to be selected. You don't want that because that will reduce the size of your canvas, and it has to be square for the animation to work. So we're going to export animation, and 30 frames, that's not bad. You could do frame skip if like 120 frames is going to be a little excessive. In Minecraft, it can cause some lag with that many. So usually I try and get it around 40 or 30. So something like this. And then you want it to be PNG sprite sheet, and you want it to be distribution vertical. So then we'll export this, and we're gonna name this Lightning Sword FX. And for Optifine, if you want it to glow, you're gonna do _E. So we're gonna save that, and now it's exported it. So then we're gonna go back into Blockbench, and we're gonna create one last cube. So we're gonna go back into Edit, and we're gonna create another cube. And we want it to be totally flat, just like that. And then we want it to be square, and we're gonna move it probably like right about there. That looks good. Okay, so then we're going to import a texture, and we're gonna look for our lightning sword mobob. We're just gonna there, open that. Yeah, something like that. I might mess with that particle some more though. I've always wished they had some kind of inner glow that wasn't just bloom. And we can always mess with the particle too, just to see what other particles look like. What would it look like if we did where it started? Yeah, if it started large and got small. Okay, I think that's looking a lot better, to be honest. What does it look like without the brightness? Ooh. Folks, I think we have it. Okay, we're gonna export that. Oh, look at that. Now we can scale it down. And what we can do too, if we want, we can take that and we can duplicate it. And then rotate it that way too. That way we're getting it from all the sides. Okay, so once you get it figured out how you want it to be orientated, oh, before I forget too, with this, we actually want these blue areas. Yes, just like that. We want to cut that. Cool, okay. So we'll want to turn these off, and since we want these areas to glow, and again, you don't want any transparency with this, we're gonna name this the exact same, so lightning sword, but we're gonna put an E at the end, and that'll make sure that glows. Okay, so we got that. So once you get your view how you want it here, you're gonna copy it, go to the next one, and paste. That way you don't have to do it again. Copy it, paste it, boom. Head doesn't matter. Something like that. And then in the item frame, I personally like to try and make it look like the size that it actually is in your hand. That way, when you put it on the wall, it looks like, you know, you have an actual sized weapon there instead of a miniature or something. Sometimes I'll do unique poses with these. For this, in this case, I think this is gonna be just fine. Maybe give it a little tilt this way, kind of deal. But other than that, I don't think I'm gonna do too much with it. And then for your GUI, I don't know why it automatically defaults to side light, but you don't notice much of a difference in here. But when you have it in game, if it's side light, it's gonna look really dark in your inventory. But for some reason, that's the default, so that's just something to keep an eye on. Want that at 45, and something like that I think would do. Might rotate it. Nah, let's leave it like that. Okay, so that is all good. So now we're going to file, export, block item model, lightning sword Jason, and we've got that in here. Yes. Okay. So now, how do you add that to a scripted item, you ask? Well, I have already made the pack. So if we go into my texture pack here, custom NPCs, and then you've got your textures and your models. It's going to be laid out the exact same. One thing to note, if you guys are doing this by yourself, it's really important. In textures, Nops made this wrong. The file that says items in every other texture pack mod, it's going to be called item, but here it's items. So that's going to throw you off if you try and do anything and you don't catch that if you're used to, you know, doing other stuff. So we're going to go into models, and so we have one for our lightning sword. So that's our model that we just made. And then we have down here, we have somewhere scripted item. So in your scripted item, these are going to be all your custom model data. So you can find these online if you look, like an empty one. But this is going to be the important part, and this is what your custom model data is going to be. That's what the number that defines what each one of these is. So we're going to go down here, we're going to copy this, we're going to put a comma, and we're going to paste that in, and this is going to be custom model data 55, and this is going to be the lightning sword, and we're going to save that. And if I did everything right, which I think I did, we can just take this and we're going to turn it into a zip file. Then we're going to go into Minecraft and we're going to get rid of our texture pack. And I assume you all know what to do with an item, like with a resource pack. I'm really sorry for the length of this tutorial. I am not good with tutorials as far as being like super efficient, because I feel like most of what I do is just kind of crazy, try it out, see, go back and forth. So anything short of like just making an item and then acting like I haven't made the item before and starting over, which drives me insane. I don't know how I could have really made this any shorter. Anyway, so open pack folder. We're gonna delete this one. Get through, take wherever it is. Here it is. Drop it in. Okay, let's see. So we're gonna take one of our items over here. We're just gonna take this one. And we're gonna change the custom model data. What was it? 56? Was it 55? Yes, 55. Okay. So it looks like, oh, I know what we're missing. I know what we're missing. We're missing a crucial step. Other than that, you can see that most of the model is actually alright. For the animated portion, we can see that is messed up, and I will show you what we forgot. So let's get this unloading. Okay, so we're gonna go into textures, items. Okay. So this is all you need in a MC meta file. This right here, the frame time. So the longer this is, the slower your animation is. I found that 2 is usually pretty good. So we're going to take, in this case I already have one, so I'm just going to copy and paste it. In this, we're going to name the exact same name as the file that you want animated. In our case, that is lightning sword fx e, but then also don't forget .png, and you'll see it moves right next to it, and you can compare it. That is going to be what animates it. You don't need anything, like, doesn't even matter, Optifine. This is, you can find this on the generic Minecraft items, like the clock. Here's our lightning sword. We're gonna copy and paste that, and we're gonna get rid of the E. So this is gonna be the FX. And then we're also gonna copy this. .png. And then with this, we're gonna replace this, change the file to the one that isn't the E. This was my bad because I was testing, I was doing some tests with the emissive stuff, and for some reason in one particular case that I had found, I didn't need to actually have the texture below it be similar for that, so I thought I could do that, but I think since it's transparent underneath, it just doesn't work at all with the emissive. But this should work now if I save this, then export. And then double check so I don't have to do this again. Yeah, okay. One more time. We got this. One more time. I swear to God, this is what I have to do every single time, is I usually end up going back 3 or 4 times. I don't know if anybody else does that, but... Okay, so resource packs. Delete that. This is gonna look great, I swear. This is gonna look amazing. Yes, there we go. Look at that. That looks beautiful. Alright, so there you go. That is everything I know. I hope it has been enough, and yeah. I hope this helps you guys, and I really look forward to seeing what kind of cool stuff you guys make with it. So, over and out.